Before we return to our group in the seemingly haunted ruins, let us return to Cora, the halfling druid who stepped into the vision pool at the Moon Grove and did not reappear, forcing her friends to carry on without her. As she stepped into the water, she felt herself sinking, the cold embracing her in a sudden grasp that made her gasp for breath. Her strong constitution meant she was able to prevent herself taking in too much water. Strangely, instead of choking, she found herself somehow able to breathe as if the water were air. She looked up, the surface seeming so very, very far away. She could see no sides to the pool, just dark, clear water stretching endlessly out around her. When she looked down, however, she could see a flagstone-paved bottom. Something lying on it caught her eye. She allowed her body to sink right down until she could reach out and pick up what she could now make out was a copper ring, crafted in a twisted vine pattern. She slipped it on, her body suddenly being propelled towards the surface at speed. As she broke the water, she noticed Arundor, his back to her, idly scratching the llama behind the ears. He turned at the sudden noise. "Ah, there you are. You've been gone an awfully long time. Did you have a vision?" Cora told him no, but she had found this ring, showing it to him. "Very curious. Did you find it floating in the water?" Cora explained it had been lying on the bottom. "Oh, nobody has ever reached the bottom before, not even me. You must be somebody very special. I've never seen that ring, nor do I know what it could do, but if the pool gave it to you, then perhaps you are someone very special." He informed her that usually the time in the pool seemed long to those in it, but seconds to those observing. This time, however, Cora felt as though she had been down there mere minutes, but in reality, hours had passed. Her friends had been forced to go on ahead, but Arundor could help her. It would take him a few minutes. As he began to cast scry, Cora perched on the edge of the pool, examining the ring. Dalai came up and nuzzled her, his grassy breath warm on her neck. After about 12 minutes, Arundor stood up and faced her. "I've found your friends. Let me know when you're ready and I can send you to join them." Cora said she was good to go, then looked dubiously at the satyr as he told her to run at a tree. He looked completely serious. So she charged. As she was about to slam into the trunk, it opened like a window, showing her a green forest on the other side. She found herself falling out of a tree behind the ruined building within which her friends were taking their short rest. A halfling popping out of a tree was an unexpected surprise, as was the sudden fireball attack that instantly felled half the party, as the flame skulls in Bjorn and Asher's bags had rejuvenated. The group, not having completed their short rest, were low on resources. Thankfully, Cora was able to heal as well as attack with her starry archer form. They managed to dispatch both skulls a second time. Yancey, being a cleric, was aware that certain undead entities could return if not properly laid to rest. The group made the decision to throw both skulls into the well. Yancey fired a sacred flame into it for good measure before the group collectively collapsed the walls to fill it in. Just as well, since before their short rest was up, they could hear something trying to get out. They decided to clear the final 2 houses. Callie was the first to enter, looking around with trepidation, but seeing nothing. He felt a cold chill that was not unfamiliar to him, but he was prepared this time, and the touch of the banshee that apparated beside him failed to hit. Everyone piled in, knowing now that they had to kill this thing quickly. Her horrifying visage struck fear into the hearts of some of the group, but they had their targets around it, bringing her down with relative ease. The final house was occupied by a creature emitting a familiar green glow. Bjorn had separated from the others, so could not see Yancey signalling as he scoped it out. He did see Callie making a run for it, briefly stopping by the well to double-check they had sealed it as well as possible. He followed suit. With the 2 frontliners at the opposite end of the village, it was down to Yancey, Cora, Zinna and Asher to tackle the Flameskull, which was well and truly aware of their presence. Realising that the rest of the party were not following them, Bjorn and Callie returned to aid the group, hoping that they would all survive another onslaught from an undead fireball-throwing monster. They did. then made a hasty exit to the northwest before anything further could attack them. Another batch of ruins, these more dilapidated than the previous part of the village. Bjorn, needing a drink after recent experiences, perched on a low crumbling wall and took out his emergency beer. Zinna leapt up via Yancy to the top of one of the walls which still stood. From her vantage point she could detect a couple of areas of movement. She pointed them out to Callie and he went to take a closer look. It was at this point that Bjorn felt a lightning jolt through his body, a blue glowing orb appearing beside him. These will-o-wisps get everywhere. The others launched their attacks, not knowing or trusting what this was, deciding it was best to destroy. They took it down without too much trouble. Cora then cast Entangle on the closest area where Zinna had seen movement, failing to restrain the ghast that was rifling through the undergrowth, but slowing it down enough to allow a volley of ranged attacks to take it down quickly. The group began to move methodically towards the next one, Bjorn once more attracting not one but 2 will-o-wisps. Thankfully the others were far enough back that they avoided drawing the attention of whatever had been lurking, at least for now. The 2 wisps were tougher to take down, but a series of badly behaved dice in the hands of the Chaos Mistress and well-planned attacks from the group ensured they prevailed. We will pause here for now, the group unaware of what may be haunting the ruins surrounding them, or what may lie ahead. I wonder if they have any idea of what may be facing them.